party people. Hello. It's Randy for Thunderhorse Descendant. I am here today with project number 2. Project number 2 from Bargain Bead Box September. So this is the brick stitch earring, and I'm going to show you on the mat. I have one completed. I wanted to make sure of the count when we put the top ring in. So I'm going to show you what we're going to make, and then we'll just whip up the other one. Easy peasy, right? Let's get down to the mat, get this part started. All right, guys, here we are on the mat. So this is the design that we are making. Where I decided to brick stitch around this little stainless steel mountain connector. The reason for that is because this mountain connector was, I don't know, it's it was like the mountains, the top of the mountains is here, but the side, the way you connect it is over here, and that just wasn't jiving with me on that day. So here is what we're gonna do. Zoom in so you can see. Now normally I don't make these things prior to, but this was a beading project, or a seed bead project, and I wanted to make sure that this part right here where I put in my ring or my horseshoe, that I had a count for you on how to do that, because I didn't want to screw it up and then have to redo the video. So anyways, this is the final product of what we're making. Okay, so what I did is, just like I said I would do in the plan, I haven't burnt my strings off the back yet, but so basically I did 2 rows of brick stitch, and then these are just ball head pins. I was gonna do threaded, you know, like just thread drops or whatever, but I was like, I want to connect them with these jump rings to give it a lot more movement. So there we go. Here we are. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So let's jump in and make the other side. So first of all, what I'm using is I'm using size 11 seed beads for this. Now you don't need 2 colors, but if you had 2 colors, I mean, really you could use whatever you wanted. I decided to use these 2 colors. I got some on my mat here. And then I'm using black Wildfire from Bead. This is the 0.15 millimeter. I feel like my camera isn't focusing very good. There we go. So this is a thermally bonded bead weaving thread, and I am using a little bit of that. I used about a half a wingspan to thread this needle. This needle is a size 11, and I have no knots in the thread. It's just on one side, and it has a tail. Okay, easy peasy. So let's see, what else we're gonna need. We're gonna need a couple of jump rings. I used 2 4mm jump rings. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 4mm jump rings. 3 it's like 3-inch ball head pins, and then an earring wire. So let's get all that out. So I just used 3 of these guys. 2, 3 in silver. There we go. And earring wire, which is here, and a couple of jump rings, 3 jump rings. 3, oh, that's 4. And a horseshoe. 2 horseshoes. Wire guardians, whatever you call them. Whatever you want to call them. Okay, so here's my little pile of findings. That's all we're going to need for this. And we're ready to rock. Oh, and we're going to also need our mountain. And then we're going to need a few of these bicones. I just dropped them all over my desk. Perfectly normal behavior. And there we go. Alrighty. So, to get started. Alright guys, here we go. So, this is really simple. All we're going to do is we're going to take the end of our string and we are going to want to tie a knot. The mountain should be facing up. Well, this is the little section we want to tie our knot in. And when we get our knot tied, I want my knot to be here underneath this little loop, this little link. Okay, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. So I'm not going to go through that loop, I just want it to be underneath there. So I'm first just going to tie a knot, just like you're tying a knot in your shoestring, right? So as I am maneuvering my string into place, I'm just turning this finding, and I just want to make sure that it's over the top of this little link. Okay, then I tie another one because we're tying a knot in our shoe, right? Boom, easy peasy, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, now we're going to scooch that knot down to the mountain. Okay, all right. So the reason I wanted to show you this is because when you get going on this, if you're not familiar with brick stitch, I'm going to show you. To start brick stitch, what you need to do is you need to start with 2 beads, not 1. So you need to start with 2. So I'm starting with these 2 beads. I'm going to bring them down. And then I'm going to come around here. Get my beads in place. I'm going to lay my beads just like this, so they're in place. Okay, so now this was going to be a little bit complicated because this is where when you start the brick stitch. So you lay them in place and then you are going to take your needle and you're going to go back through the first one. Okay. So you're going to pull that into place. Okay, so you're going to pull that into place. Now that you have that one set, you need to go back and set the first one. So meaning you need to go into the first bead, go down, okay, and then you need to come up without going through the link. You're just going to come up to the second one, just like that, and that's what's going to make that first bead lay down. Okay, so there you go. So the reason that I want to show you this first is because now we're going to go underneath, and I'm not going to cut the string or anything. I'm going to just continue on. So we're going to, in the back, bring this string underneath, bring your needle through the link from the back. Okay, so you have this, right? Go around the front part of the connector. You're going to come through the link again from the back, and right here you are going to create a half hitch knot, meaning you've created a loop. You're then going to put your needle through there, and the tricky part about this is holding it in place to make sure that it goes where you want it to go. Okay, easy peasy. Now we have to do the same thing because we're starting anew. Okay, so we have to put 2 beads on. So we're going to come back over here, we're going to get our 2 beads. Okay, bring them down so they look like this. It looks like this right now. Okay, we're going to bring our needle through the back of the link and kind of hold on to it. They're going to lay down the way they're supposed to. You're going to go back through the first one, or the second one technically, the second one. And when you do that, you're going to see this loop is going to wrap around your link. It's going to hold it down into place. So now we have to set this one as well, because look how it's sticking upward. So that's fine. All we do is we go back through the first one, and then come, without going through the loop, we go back up through the bottom of the second bead, and then pull it, scooch it, make sure it's in place, pull the slack out, and there we go. Okay, so now that's the hard part. The hard part is over. Now what we do for regular brick stitching is we're just going to take 1 bead at a time, bring your bead down, okay, kind of, we're going to come through the back, always through the back, and then go back through the bead, and it's going to look like this. That's fine. You're just going to pull it up there into place, and we're just going to keep going. So once you get this going, it's actually really easy. So like I said, the hard part is already over. So then we're just going to keep doing that. Bring it around. Go back through that bead. Okay. Put on another bead. Bring it down. Through the back. Go back through the bead. Okay, so we want to get about 7 beads on, 6 or 7. Let me see what I got. 6 or 7 from this link. 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to want to put on 7. So I got to put 2 more on. Oh, I'm sorry. I take that back. You got to go all the way around on this one. This is your base layer. I was thinking for the purple, but I'm ahead of myself. So we just keep putting these on here. The only thing to note is once you're continuing to put these on, as you near the edge over here, there's a little bit of stuff we got to do. Okay, so this part is really easy. It's just a regular old brick stitch, and they're laying down fine. And we're just going back through the bead. Once you get into a rhythm, it's really not that bad. It's actually kind of fun. Okay. And don't get your tail in there, like me. Okay, through the back, around, through the bead. They're just laying next to each other. Having a lovely time. You can see I got space for one more bead there. Back through the bead, don't get your tail in there. Okay. So we have the first half of the top half done. Okay? Here's what it looks like. So now that we're here, we are just going to make sure we're going to go do the same thing that we did kind of when we started this out, right? So we're going to go around the back, and right here there's a little space. You can see right before you get into the mountain, you're still in the what I would consider the sky part of the mountain. You're in the sky part. That's where you're going to put your needle. Okay, with just the thread on it. You're going to do the same thing that we did before. You're going to wrap it around again. In the sky part of the mountain, you're creating a loop. You're going to create a half-hitch knot. So you're just going to run your needle through that loop. And you're going to make sure that that knot hits right next to the little loop on the connector. Okay? But now it's like starting new again. So now we have to start 2. Get my beads on here. Okay. So now we take 2, we're still working with this same color. We take 2, bring it down. Okay. And now we're going to go into the actual mountain part. Okay. So we're going to go into the mountain part. We're going to kind of put those beads up where we want them. We're going to run back through the second bead only. We're going to pull that bead down into place. Then we're going to go through the first bead, not going around the link. We're just going to go through the first bead, come down. I'm going to go up through the second bead. Okay, and now we are back on track. That bead is going to lay down in place. And we are back on track with where we need to be. Excuse me. Tail is a little cumbersome. Okay, now we continue with our one at a time. So, one at a time. Bring that down. Same thing, coming from the back, going back through the bead to lock him into place, snugging him up there next to his friends. Okay, and we just keep going here until we complete the circle. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Don't panic, remember not to panic. Okay, we're getting closer here. Kind of holding on to this tail in my other finger. My hand is probably at a weird angle. It was getting in my way. And we're starting to close up this gap. We've got maybe 2 beads left here. One more. Still in the mountain. Okay. So this is what we have so far. This one is being a little weirdy woo, but it's okay. I'm about ready to tack him down. So here's what we have so far. We've gone all the way around. And now what we're going to do is we're going to tack we're going to come around bottom link here in the sky part of the mountain with no bead on, and then we're going to go up through the first bead that we ever put on. Okay. I want my circle to be intact, so I'm going to go back down through the last bead we put on to kind of bring these two together with a bridge. Okay, kind of get everything straightened out. Ooh, I went the wrong way. That's fine. I must have, my camera went out and I must have flipped it over. I thought I was going the right way. Hello. Okay, let me get back to where we need to be. Okay. So, here we are back at the loop. I'm going to wrap this underneath the sky part. And I'm going to come back down. Sorry, not down. I'm going to come up through this bead here. This bead after the connector. This is the one that I said was sitting wonkily. So it's supposed to be sitting flat and it was sitting kind of crooked. So now here's where I'm tacking it down. So what I did is I'm at the connector. Okay, I've gone through the top, through the link, round to the side, and I'm going to grab this guy from the bottom on the back side to really tack him into place. So I gotta get him in there. There we go. So all this string is hiding out behind the loop here. Okay, and so now he's officially tacked down and everything seems to be going according to plan. So, there we go. So we've got a complete loop. Now what we're going to do is we are going to do the second part, the second color, if you will. So we're going to start the second color. Now the second color, you don't have to do it on the bottom if you don't want to, but the second color is so we can put on our horseshoe to create this loop so that this can hang correctly. So what we're going to do is we're going to put on about 7 beads. But remember, we are starting a new line, right? So whenever we're starting a new line, they do what they call a step up. I just call it starting a new one, but whatever. So we're going to put 2 beads on. When we're doing this on a second row, okay, we are going to count the bridges. The bridges, if you are unaware, are the string between the beads at this point. So you've already put these on, and now there's a little string between each bead. So you're going to count 1, 2. You're going to go in from the back in the second, under the second bridge, like so. So not the first bridge, because we're putting on 2 beads. Each bead needs a bridge. Okay, 1, 2. We bring it back. Now we're going to go back up through the second bead as we've been doing. Oops. Okay, he's going to straighten himself out. Then we're going to go down through the first bead. And then we are going to go back up through the second bead. All the while not going around the link or anything like that. Just getting our stuff in order. Okay, now we are going to put on the second color. We're going to put on about 7 beads, one at a time. So put this one on, and then we're going to go through the next bridge. So now you're going through just one bridge, because every bead needs a bridge. So if you're putting on 2 beads, you need to go through the second bridge. If you're putting on 1 bead, it needs to just go into the next bridge. So here we go, doing it, doing it. This is the same stitch basically we were doing before, except for now we're not going around the ring, we're just going under the bridge. Okay. We're going to keep going. Under the bridge. Back through the bead. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got to put on 2 more. So I know you're going, Randy, we're going past the middle. Yeah, that's the point. We're supposed to go past the middle because we're using a horseshoe, and we're going. We still want our loop here to have beads on it. You don't want to have a big open space. So what that means is we have to go past. You have to go past the middle. Okay, so this is what you should have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you're using 11s like me, okay. You can see we're past the middle of the finding. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put on our horseshoe. We're going to run our horseshoe wire guardian. We're going to go in through one side. Okay, and we're going to go around the horseshoe. Okay, and then we're going to go backwards. So we're going to look at our horseshoe and we're going to say, okay, horseshoe, you want to be in this bridge right here, under the bridge. Let's see, nope, this wants to be in the bead. So we're going to go into this bead. So we're coming out of one bead and we're just going back one and going through that one. Okay, make sure your string is not twisted. This is important. You want to make sure that your string is not twisted, and you want to make sure that it's in the horseshoe. Okay. So it looks like this. The string is coming out of this bead. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back through this first bead here, through the bottom, and then we're going to go up around the horseshoe one more time for safety. Safety. Okay, so we're going around the horseshoe and we're coming back down through that same purple bead. Okay, so you can see I'm just coming down the bead right below the horseshoe. getting a little snuggy snug. There we go. And I'm going to make sure that this gets in there. There isn't any wonkiness with it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back through this purple bead in front of it, and instead of going through the horseshoe, I'm just going to come out the side so that I can continue on with putting on my purple beads. So you can see that since we went past and then we went back and we basically put it on backwards, it's now in the middle. Okay, so let's see here. Now we don't need to do 2 beads because we're still going. We just happen to add a horseshoe. So we're just going to continue to put on 1 bead, go under the bridge, set that bead in place. Easy peasy. See? Just like nothing happened. Keep going. Alright. We're doing it. We're doing it. Okay, right here. Camera's being a little silly. Right here, there is a bridge right there. There is a thread on the other side of that bead. So you just got to get in between there and get a hold of that bridge. You see that bridge right there? Okay. Once you got it, you can go ahead and put your bead on. Set your bead into place. Okay. Now we're going to run this string the same way we have been, round the back, in the sky of the mountain, through here, okay, come up through this first bead, okay, so this is what you should have. Your tail is coming out of this first bead and the top row is done. So now we're going to, again, we have to start anew, so we got to put on 2 purple because you don't have any anything to build on here. So you're going to go through not 1 but 2 bridges, the second bridge, because every bead has a bridge, right? Back through the first one. I'm sorry, the second one. That bead's going to lay down. You're just going to go back through the first bead. Okay, and then come up through your second bead. Oops, that was kind of a fast tail. And now you're ready to rock. So we just continue on, and then I'm also going to put a horseshoe on the bottom of this component as well. So we got to do on the bottom, I believe it's only 6 for them to line up completely. I think it's 6. We'll take an eyeball at it here as soon as I get these ones going. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. No, still 7. I don't know why I was thinking it was only 6. Get out of there, tail. Okay, then we do the horseshoe again. So, we're going to get our horseshoe. We're going to go through one side of it. And we're going to go up and around. So here's the thing. You're going to go into the purple bead behind, just one behind the one that your thread is coming out of. Okay? We're just going to do this same maneuver 2 times to make sure that it's safe. I'm going to make sure that our string is all the way inside of the horseshoe, it is tight, and there's no hoopla going on. Go back up through the first purple bead. And the horseshoe. Around the horseshoe again. And it's real easy because this horseshoe is going to be perfectly lined up with this purple bead. So you don't have to guess which one it is. Okay. You can bring that down. It's getting a little snug. It's getting snug because I have a lot of tail on there. Ooh, missed it. And also I've been through these size 11 beads a couple of times now. Okay, make sure it's on there. And then we do the same thing as we did before. We're going to come in through that first purple bead, and instead of going through the horseshoe, we're just going to pop out the side here. Might have to maneuver your horseshoe out of the way so you can get through there. So same bead, just coming out the side. I'm going to get some tail out of the way here. So. Okay. So now we just add one more, go through this bridge, and just continue on like nothing happened. You don't have to put 2 beads here because you're already started. You already have a line of purple beads. So you don't have to put 2 beads there. It's just when you're starting out or you don't have a bead to go off of in that row of that color from the step up. So, no need to put 2 beads, just 1. We're just going through our bridges. And tacking our beads into place. Whoa. Not getting our tail in the way. And last bead. Okay, last bead. Now remember there is a string, a bridge right here. There is a bridge. So utilize that. And come up through that last bead. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the back. I'm going to come through the sky part of the mountain. I'm going to run this string up through this bead here. Okay, once I have that, I'm going to get in between these 2 rows and I'm going to make a half hitch knot. Oh, what happened? I broke my needle. It was an old needle. I've used it several times. I'm not surprised. Okay. I'll just pop on a new one. All I have to do is tie a knot and then hide the knot. So it's not no big Never mind. Broke the eye. Okay, we'll get rid of that. And then we'll squeeze the end here. Thread this back up. Ooh, I don't even know what size that is. Don't even know what size that is. Small would be my guess. Pretty small. I can't even see the eye on it. Is there anything bigger in here? Hello. Let's try this one. Looks like a bitty teeny 15 guy. Okay, let's try this one. Alright. We're in business now. Now, where am I at here? Oh, yeah. Okay. So I was about to do my half hitch knot. So, I'm going to go in between these two rows. Making sure that I am not going through any beads. I just want to get in between the strings there. I'm going to create this little loop, and then I'm going to make a half hitch knot. To make this half hitch knot, I want to make sure it hits in between the beads and doesn't get caught on anything. Okay, because this is how I'm tying off my project. So now, after I have that half hitch knot, I'm going to go up into this purple one. And I'm going to go down into this purple one. And you can tie another half hitch knot here if you want to, or if not, you can just go down and try a different space. But you want to make sure that you're making, you're following whatever pattern that you had before, as to not create more strings where you don't need to. So there we go. I'm just going to call that good. And then I'm just going to trim it. I'm not going to cut it super seriously because I don't have my burner down here. It's upstairs. I got to go grab it. But normally we would be burning those off. Now, I would suggest you take your tail and you run it back through your beadwork a little bit. Mine is too short for me to do that, so I'm just going to cut it. Okay, and there we go. I just have to burn those little threads off, and that is the hard part. Right? It really doesn't take that long, and once you get around going around the thing, it's pretty easy. So now all we got to do is make these little tassels, and so you can pick whatever, you know, whatever you want to do. I picked this pattern here just for fun, and I'm making 3 of them. So bicone, one of these guys. I got what, 3 bicones here on the bottom. This is just some pattern I just made up for funsies, so you do what you want. I got 1 of these. I got 5 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 of these. 3. 5 of these. 5. 1 of these. And then I've got back to the bicones. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there is my little guy. So I made 2 of these that were exactly the same, and then I just made the middle one different just because I wanted to. You don't have to do that. So then all we're going to do is we're just going to wire wrap these. So I'm just going to use my round nose. I'm going to create a wire wrap. Now you could do a simple wrap on these if you want to. I just like a wire wrap because I do. It is a little bit harder to do with these head pins because you got to be real careful not to crack your crystals. I was lucky on the first go. I didn't have any issues with that. Basically, you just gotta find the right leverage here and get her to tuck in. And there you go. Sometimes my tail is too long, and that's why it doesn't want to go. But you could also use beading wire for this if you want to. I just prefer to do it this way. Ooh, almost got her in there. Okay. So then I gotta make 2 more. So I've got this guy. Do my little pattern. I just heard a crash upstairs. I wonder what the cats are doing. Always doing something. They're always into something. Okay, I'm gonna have to get those wound up off camera. I just need a little more time to just focus on them. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these. I've got 4. I need 5. 6, 7. All right, so we got 1, 3, 4, 7. Oh. And then I need 5, 5 and 3. That's good. Okie dokie. And line these up. Oh yeah, this one's just a little more of a bendy brassy one. Okay, and then put that in. Okay, let's see if I can't fix these guys up here quick like. Not breaking any crystals. Sometimes I just need to move just a little bit and then I'll get going. But it's always a risk. This one's going down. Okay, I think we're good to go here. All right, now is the easy part. We're done with all the seed beading. All we have to do is assemble our earring and burn off the little strings. But so we're going to take the two that are the same, and then this one goes here. We're going to attach those with jump rings. I'm using 4mm jump rings, round. Unless you have Tinky Tot ovals. I mean, I love an oval, but I tried an oval on this one, and I don't know, the sizing didn't work right. Wouldn't recommend that for the first time ever in life. I don't know why. But yeah, something happened with that, and it just didn't lay the way I needed it to. So I swapped over to these 4mm rounds, and that seemed to go pretty well. So I'm just attaching these to the links. Just attaching this one to the bottom in this horseshoe that we added on. And then, last but certainly not least, your earring wire. I'm just using a French earring wire. I'm just going to put it into the wire guardian on the top, close her up, and there we go. Let me bring in the other one so you can see them together. They are so cute. Whoa. Chair is locked in. They're cute. I have to do the thread thing, but I mean, for the most part, burn the threads off. But yeah, look how cute those are. And I mean, it is kind of a little bit of work, but you could, and it's fun. I quite enjoy it. It was a good way to get the mountains to stand up the straight and narrow way they're supposed to. I'm like, why are these not standing up the right way? So yeah, that is the project for the brick stitch earrings. And I think that these turned out pretty much just like in the photo, like we said they would. So that is project 2 for Bark and Bead Box. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. If you are, please make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, consider becoming a member of the channel, and supporting Beading and me and Beading. Yeah, I actually really like how these turned out. They're very cute. Alright, you guys. Well, I hope that you all have a lovely, spectacular, amazing beading day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.